So, hi everyone, thanks for being here. Sorry I'm a little late. I was doing makeup and lost track of time and it still didn't do a whole lot, but you know, we're here. And let's chat scare acting, shall we? Hi, I'm Noelle, also known as Charge and Die. I'm a professional scare actor. I tell Scareactor Stories as my main content. But with everything going on, I thought it'd be fun to interview fellow Scareactors and have them tell their stories as well. I have a guest with me tonight. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello, Noel. Thank you. I'm Paul Zecharia. I'm an actor, a filmmaker, writer, and I was a scare actor for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios back in 2018.
Nice. So Paul has actually been on here before. He was my first interviewee for the virtual interviews for Scareactor Stories in season 1. So if you've seen him before, welcome back. If you haven't seen him, we're about to tell some more stories. So yeah. Oh, William goes terror trim. Yeah. Terror trim. Ooh.
Hey, Will.
Sarah, I'm interested in this so much, but also I can't do haunted houses. I have panic attacks. Yeah, a lot of people have that issue, actually. I get that comment a lot on my TikToks that I post saying, like, I really want to go, but I have fight or flight, or I get panic attacks or something like that. I don't have a whole lot of advice for you other than there are different haunted houses with different varying levels of scariness. So I would have your friends maybe scope it out for you, like really good friends who are not trying to like troll you and say like, oh yeah, no, it's totally fine, and then take you to the like worst one to go to. Like get some people you trust, have them scope it out for you and give you an honest feedback. Like I know Disneyland might have something but it's not scary at all, but it's like still got that Halloween-y vibe. It doesn't have scare actors there, unfortunately, but you have, you know, actors, you have the characters and everything. And then with Universal, it can be scary. It really depends on the mazes and how well they are and the actors and if they're having a good day or a bad day, because sometimes you might just have an actor who's having a bad day and wants to take it out on you and scare the hell out of you. But yeah, that sucks that you get panic attacks. Also, if you go and ease into it a little more, maybe you can build up to it. Like once you start getting used to it, like if you've been scaring for a while, you could go into a haunt and then immediately know where the pop outs are going to happen. And so you're not as scared. And then another big piece of advice is become a scare actor because, you're in charge of the scares at that point. You're not going through the haunt. You're not the one being scared. You're the one, you are familiar with that area. You are in control. You are the one scaring others. And then when you get used to that environment, maybe you could go through other haunts and once you're used to it. But yeah, so that's advice. I don't know if it's helpful advice, but it's advice nonetheless. Whether you asked for it or not, there you go. So anyway,
I was gonna say that's actually that's very good advice. In order to conquer your fear, maybe you should embrace it, like Bruce Wayne.
I was gonna say be Batman. Be
Yeah.
like Batman.
I would have to
Exactly.
say, if I were to do that, conquer my fear, I would have to be Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, me too. Actually, yeah, spiders, big thing. Yep. If you guys watched me play Skyrim, I did a little like freak out whenever I had to fight a spider. I'd usually be like, okay, gotta fight these spiders in Skyrim.
Fight spiders on Skyrim?
Yeah, like these frost spiders, and they're
I did not know
ginormous
that.
spiders that. Yeah, no, it was not. It was not cool. Anyway, become what you fear the most. Be a scare actor. You know the scares. So Paul, for those who haven't met you before, how did you get started in scaring?
So, okay, I used to live in Los Angeles way back when, and this was like 2018. I was working like as a set production assistant for film and TV mostly, but also as an actor, you know, trying to audition here and there. And in the summer of that year, I was looking into, you know, any new opportunities I could come across, and I came across the open call for scare actors for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, and that never crossed my mind to do. At that time, I was just like, I never considered being a scare actor. I'm not really sure what it's like, what that scene is like, and I've never even been to Halloween Horror Nights, and it was true. I had never actually attended it, but I auditioned. I got in, and I was like, okay, this is a whole new world, and yeah, I ended up really loving it.
Yeah, that usually happens. Is like people don't really know what to expect, and then they end up really having a good time, making friends, and it's an interesting environment. So what would you say was your expectation going into your first time scaring versus toward the end of the season? Was it proven true or false? What were your expectations?
To be honest, I wasn't really sure what to expect at first. I just felt like maybe it was gonna be oh, my light turned off over there. I wasn't 100% sure. I figured, maybe it'll just kind of be like a fun little thing. Wasn't really sure if I could last the whole time, but at the very end, like I said, I ended up really like loving the whole experience just because I didn't realize how much fun I was actually going to have scaring guests, and actually just making friends along the way.
That's great.
So
And
I guess
where were you in your year scaring? What was your character? If you don't mind me asking, I don't know if
I was an EMT clown at the Terror Tram, which unfortunately that was its last year at Halloween Horror Nights, and the Terror Tram is at it's at the Bates Motel site, which is also right next to part of the War of the Worlds plane crash site on the Universal lot on the Universal War. That's where I was at. That's where like that was my main spot, and occasionally I got pulled to go to different mazes um, at that time.
Yeah, this is kind of irrelevant information now that Terror Tram is gone, but for those who don't know, first off, pool is what Universal Halloween Horror Nights employees call those who are just kind of like filler spots, like the wild cards that can fit anywhere. If you're missing a spot in your maze, they'll call someone in pool to fill that spot for the night. So it's just like the filler spots. And if you were on Terror Tram actually ended its night a few hours before the rest of the park did. So if you were working on Terror Tram and you wanted some extra cash, you wanted that extra time scaring, and you did fit a slot that was vacant at that time, then they might pull you from Terror Tram once it was done to fill that spot for the last few hours of the night. And I did that a couple times. I got some good stories out of it, like the Purge Scare Zone stories that I don't know if anyone watching is familiar with my TikToks, but I've talked about like my Purge Scare Zone time, my time in the Saw maze, American Horror Story maze. Those were all from pool in just 1 year. So I worked all those in the same year when I was William Billy Valentine. He was my first Jason. I was part of the Friday the 13th maze on Terror Tram in 2017, so just a year before Paul. And then 2018 was when I was in the Trick or Treat Scare Zone, which is the bulk of my stories when I was the wolf. I took 2019 off. I was really excited to go through Terror Tram as a guest, and it was no more. So that was fun. Anyway, if anyone in the chat has any questions for Paul about scare acting, about just fun stories, like tell a fun time of when this happened, feel free to comment it. We are going to be live until 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is midnight for you, right? Thank you so much for being flexible with your time and pushing it back a couple hours. Cause
it's no problem. I'm here in the Midwest, and not really much going on my side. Just kind of working on my own thing, but I have plenty of time. So
Thank you.
I'm glad to be doing this again.
Yeah. It's glad to. I'm glad to have you back on here. It's so nice to have people actually interested in having me talk scare acting with them, especially a second time like you. So Paul.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you thought of any other stories? Or feel free to repeat a story. We might have some new people this time around. So Scareactor Stories, do tell.
So let's think of one. I'm not sure maybe if you remember this. I remember the night during Halloween Horror Nights 2018. I don't remember the date, but I remember when it rained.
Mm.
Because it doesn't often rain in LA, but I remember there was one night where it rained a night, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to continue the night, and so all of us, all the scare actors, had to be shuttled back to scare base. Yeah, over there. We were just kind of waiting to see what was going to happen, if how the rain was going to turn out for the rest of the night. And I remember in that area where we prep, we there was a little dance party going on, and everyone just started, like, everyone brought like their like portable speakers or whatever, and they just started blasting music throughout the entire scare base and just doing like a dance party. Like, it's like they had all these moves choreographed already. I'm like, where did this come from?
I'm sure it's happened before.
Watching that, I didn't dance. I didn't feel like dancing because I felt like I didn't know a lot of people well enough to be like, yeah, I want to go in and dance. I was just kind of watching, but I remember it was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. This is cool. It sucks that it's raining and we can't go out scaring. But this is kind of fun.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, because you were my first interviewee, like I said, virtual Scareactor Stories, and so I didn't have anything to compare it to. But since going through season 1 of Scareactor Stories and talking to so many people, a lot of people recounted that night of the rain out in 2018.
Nice.
And
Yes.
and it's interesting that you mentioned a dance party, because almost everyone mentioned some sort of dance party in their zone, in their maze, whatever. Like, everyone was just dancing. Me and my zone, we were inside playing video games, so we weren't having a dance party, but we were still having fun. Yeah, so I'm interested. I want to talk to someone who has done scaring in Orlando, because I want to know what they do during rainouts. Since California, we are not built for rain. Everything gets flooded. We don't know what to do. Obviously, you don't want, if you're wearing a mask or makeup, you don't want to get that wet, because the mask will get all mildewy and moldy, and then the makeup will wash off. And then you also don't want to be scaring where it's slippery. So it gets really dangerous in rain. You could brave it out, but I was told not to. Sorta. I was told indirectly not to. It was weird. So when it rained, I had the big wolf head, right? I had the gloves and everything. I was stubborn. I was like, I'm gonna smell like a wet dog going out there, but I want to scare. Literally, I'm a wet dog. I'm a bitch. Literally. Anyway, I wanted to scare. And then Dan, funny enough, I don't think you know Dan, but Glenn and I saw Dan earlier today because I bought his couch off of him. He's moving to Florida, and so I just was like, hey, Dan, what's up? But it's so funny because Dan... he's also on Twitch, by the way, if people want to follow D Squared. Just a quick shout out to Dan. Nice. He was my supervisor. Well, not my supervisor. He was like supervisor to the supervisor. So he was like boss, if you want to think of it that way. So I just saw him roaming around sometimes. I was a little intimidated because I never really got to talk to him. But after talking to him for a while, you know, we're friends now. But at this time of the rain out, I was very intimidated by him. I had not talked to him like at all. All I knew is whatever he says goes. Yes, sir. Dan, sir. So he comes out and he's just like, you, wolf girl. Me, yes. So what do you want, sir? Yes, sir. And he's like, you got to go out and scare. Just be careful. And I was like, yeah, all right, let's do this. And the head of the makeup department and the masks, in charge of the masks, in that zone, grabbed me and said, no, not to me, but to Dan. She was like, no, she is not going out there. I'm not letting her. I was like, what do I do? Someone tell me what to do, because my boss is telling me one thing, and this very intimidating small Mexican girl in charge of makeup is very yelly, and I want to listen to her too. Like, she's technically not my boss, but she is acting like it, and I don't know what to do. My God.
I feel like in that kind of situation, when it comes to the issue of safety, you listen to the safety person.
Well, there was no safety person. Like, they were both saying different things. So her concern, he was concerned obviously about my safety, and I told him, I reassured him, like, I've scared in rain before, I've scared in slippery conditions before. I don't have to move fast. I could still be scary just walking slowly and carefully. And that convinced him enough to want me to go out there. However, she stopped me, not for safety, for me and my well-being. I'm not trying to like bag on her. She is such a lovely woman and I loved chatting with her and stuff. I don't want to make it sound like she didn't care about me at all, but she's in charge of the masks and they're very expensive and really hard to deal with. So she stopped me to say, I want her to stay inside because that mask will definitely get mildewy and moldy if it's out in the rain. And it's like, okay, that's understandable. We didn't really consider that side of things. We were just focused on more safety, but let's protect the mask, because without that mask we're down a whole wolf girl. They won't have time to make a new one and they don't have the budget for it, so she was like, no, to protect the mask, don't go out there. I said, fine. Oh darn, I guess I have to stay inside and play video games for a while. Oops. William goes, Philip wants to know, how do you deal with the fear of performing? Paul, would you like to take this one while I sip on my non-branded soda that I'm not going to show on camera?
All right. Okay. Hey, what I'm about to say is going to sound a little pretentious. I don't have a fear of performing, but I do have a fear of, well, it's not really a fear, but it's just, if I end up going out there and performing or whatever, I end up constantly worrying, like, did I do this well? Did I perform this well? Did I do a good job performance? I end up being my own worst critic because I get very critical. And even if somebody tells me, oh, that was good, I'm just like, oh, really? Oh, thank you. I'm just like, okay, well then maybe, I guess you could say, then the fear comes of, well, if this person said I was good, I did a good job, I hope I don't mess it up again next time. I hope I don't mess it up next time. So I guess maybe that's where the fear comes in. It's just not being able to do a good job the second time around. I guess that kind of answers the question, because I do tend to get very critical and like a little worrisome, and like just like this better work out. But then like when I go out there, I just like I go out with like confidence that I have, and I'm like, okay, here I am in the moment, I'm gonna do my thing. So I hope that answered your question, William.
Well, yeah, I think it did, because you touched base on a really good thought of you are your worst critic and you will overthink. Like everyone does this. I will piggyback off of that and say something that is pretty negative, but should release some of that pressure off of you from performing. No one cares what you are doing. They only care about themselves. So if you are over there and you're just like overthinking every little thing, even if you're super weird and out there, even if you fall flat on your face and make a fool of yourself, you're going to think about that every night as you're trying to sleep for the next 5 years. But everyone who saw that happen, they would probably just be like, oh, that sucked for them. It was kind of funny. Moving on. Like, they don't care. They don't care. Yeah. So it's really not as big a deal as you build it up in your head. You are overthinking it, and I know it's easier said than done, but my biggest piece of advice I could give for anyone who is performing, not just scare acting, but performing in general, prepare as much as you can and then just let it go. Rehearse everything that you need to rehearse, get it second nature, but as soon as it gets to that point where you're like, yeah, I think I'm prepared, breathe, let it go, and just get out there. Because you are going to overthink. But when I do this thing, I think everyone does this, I'm not sure, but I blink out whenever I'm on stage. Whenever I'm out there scared, I blink out. Yeah, because I'm in the zone at that point. It's just like I'm out there, I'm performing, I'm doing what I'm doing. It's auto mode from there. And then I remember going on stage, and then I remember coming off stage, and that's it. Just as soon as when I am on stage, it just all blinked.
And exits.
Seriously though, the first time I performed, I think was I mean, not technically, but the first time I remember being really nervous getting out there because I was very under-prepared and I didn't know what people would think, was the first time I cosplayed. I was also doing a masquerade performance and with my friends and everything. They only asked me to do it because I was taller than all the other girls in the group and I didn't mind dressing as a boy, and they needed a boy for the performance, but I went to an all-girls school, so they didn't know many boys, so they were like, Noelle, you're weird. Do you mind doing this, dancing as a guy? And I'm like, yeah, all right, cool, let's do it. But I never cosplayed before. I didn't know the character. I never saw the anime. It was from Vampire Knight. I was Kaname, in case people are interested in knowing. And I remember we only rehearsed maybe 5 times this whole dance number. Never rehearsed a quick change or anything for the one girl quick changing. We had to like get out there, do the performance. It had to be under 2 minutes and then get off. And so I was thinking like, I'm so nervous. Oh God, we didn't perfect this part, and I don't know this part, and da 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 da. I remember walking on stage, the music starting, and then walking off stage, and everyone's clapping, and I was like, it happened. It happened. And here's the thing, though. It's recorded. It is on the internet, and I watch it all the time. I'm just like, I don't remember any of this. Like, I can't believe I did that. Oh my God. So just get out there. Do the thing. And have fun with it. Well, you goes, I must see it. No, this is baby. This is like high school Noelle cosplaying for first time in a bad wig. You do not want to see this. It's really embarrassing. I don't know why I mentioned it. I mentioned it because it is really embarrassing. It's out there on the internet. But yeah, no one knows about it. And even if they did, it's a funny memory. Just go with it. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. You're human. I know you are acting like a monster, but you're human. And get out there. Now everyone's saying, like, must see this. No, no. I gave you all the information you need to know. I think you can find it. It's really funny. But yeah, that's performing. You just gotta take that first step. Get out on stage, auto mode. Trust your instincts. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question,
advice.
William.
I mean, definitely.
Yeah, that's what's gotten me through so much.
For any kind of performer, pretty much, yeah. I definitely take that to heart, and I've just learned, like, I've become, like, I guess you could say, like, you know, more confident over the years, like, you know, with performances, not just with star acting, but just with acting in general. A lot of that like, also came from when I used to do theater in high school, just performing in front of a big group of people. I remember having that confidence back then, and but you know, I always just worry about like looking back. I'm like, okay, I hope I did this right. I hope I didn't do this wrong. And so I guess that's just where it always is. But yeah.
I think everyone overthinks everything. And the beautiful thing about scare acting, to get it back on topic, specifically scare acting, is I get nervous still. I still get nervous. I've been doing it for years. I've not just scare acting, but performing. I've been performing for years. I get nervous every time going out there, but it does get easier every time. And also, it's not like you're performing on stage and you have to recite a monologue and be in character like that. It's like you perform for 4 seconds for this group of people. Whatever happened, move on. Next group of people, 4 seconds. Just keep moving on. So it's a very short performance, and if you get it wrong, who cares? They're probably scared anyway. I would just stand there and the costume would do most of the work anyway, so you're good. Sarah, what is your favorite thing to scare act as? Paul?
Well, definitely my favorite thing was my main character that I did, Terra Tram, which was the way I described this character, he was an EMT clown. He had long green hair, red nose, white face, EMT outfit, a butcher knife. I named him Moxie the Clown, because I used to do this thing where whenever I would scare somebody and they'd scream or laugh, I would always end up imitating that scream or laugh, like mocking them. So if someone was like, "Oh my God," I'll be like,
That's great.
Someone would scream like, "Ah!" I'll be like, "Ah!" And then they would laugh, and then I'd circle around and I'd scare them again and be like, "Oh," you know. So that's what I used to do. When I was pulled to other mazes, there was one maze that I got pulled to twice. Oh, it was the first Purge. That was the maze that year. Was like this military guy, and that was actually fun to do a couple times. Those two were my favorites. I did like 4 different characters, but my main Terror Tram one and the Purge one that I did, and those were both fun. So I like doing those. Maybe one year, you know, if I ever return to Halloween Horror Nights, I'd like to do another clown. or I was trying to think if they do another if they ever bring back Freddy Krueger for a future maze, I'd love to do Freddy.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that would be
Freddy's fun. Yeah, or it looks like fun.
Yeah.
I've never done Freddy Krueger, but yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Freddy's a classic. Gotta do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do one of those. Funny thing is, I ordered a Freddy shirt from Hot Topic that I feel like I should have worn today, but instead I'm wearing this shirt from 2019 Halloween Horror Nights.
What does it say?
It says a maximum screamage, and it has all the mazes on the back. Yeah,
Nice.
that was like the main shirt that I got.
I wish we got better shirts in, I think it was 2017, because, like, you pay for a shirt and you want to feel that camaraderie with your friends all wearing the same thing, and it was like this weird iron-on kind of quality. Weird, I don't know, it like puckers in places. I have it. It's one of my workout shirts now. I sleep in it sometimes. Like, I just don't go out in public with it. I'll always find a use for a shirt,
Well, I got another shirt as well. I got the Us shirt of the hands and the scissors from 2019 as well. Yeah, so I made sure I got another shirt because I attended Halloween Horror Nights twice in 2019. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it that year. But I went to it twice, and I got to go to all the mazes, and I had fun. First time going as a guest, that was a lot of fun.
Same. I also went as a guest for the first time in 2019. It was a lot of fun. I got one of those frequent fear passes, so I visited people all the time. It was really cool. I even made a vlog. If people are watching and they're interested, I made a vlog. It's on my YouTube of like my first time going through as a guest. It happened to be on Friday the 13th also that year, so... That was fun. It was just a quick little vlog. Anyway, to answer the question, favorite thing to scare act as, I also like Purge. The Purge character that I did for Pool once, that was a lot of fun. But I cannot beat classic clown character or crazy inmate in asylum. I just like the crazy characters because they're so erratic and you can mock people and call them names. Obviously, it depends on what haunt you go to because Halloween Horror Nights are not allowed to speak anymore. But in other haunts, you could absolutely say things. Just watch what you say. Depending, like I said, depends on the haunt. But I loved being. I played the secretary of this asylum place. I don't know. It was not well defined as far as what I was. But I had to sit at a desk and like pretend to answer calls or something. And some of the things I would yell at people, I really liked making fun of them because I would comment on what they were wearing or like kind of like you where you were mocking people. I would kind of do that too. It's just fun to mock people.
That was just a shtick that I added. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun because they're scared. But if you make fun of them being scared, they're not as scared and it's more fun for everybody. But they're still scared. You're still creepy.
Actually, there was another quirk that I had added when I was the clown at Terra Tram. I don't know if I talked about it last time, but I used to do this thing where I stood. So I was right next to the plane and the War of the Worlds plane crash site, and there was like that long path that they had in between it. And sometimes I would stand like in the middle of the path, and then guests would come walking. I would stand like this. I would wave to them. And then they'd be like, "Oh man, the clown!" And then what I would do is I had my my fake knife, and I would pull it out of my sleeve. I'd be like this. I pull it out, and then that's when they would be like, "Oh my god!" That was fun. That was like a little move that I did, and I always got everybody scared. I would go at them and be like, "Oh no!"
That's awesome. Yeah, lure them into a false sense of security. Absolutely. That's one of my favorite things.
Friendly, but I'm not.
Hi, hello. Love that. What were some of the best reactions you ever got scaring people?
Okay, wait, hang on. I'm thinking because there were some. I made one guy drop his phone.
Did it break?
I don't know. Like, there's this guy and his girlfriend or whatever. They were walking. I scared, and he was like, "Oh!" And then it fell to the ground. And
was it a little juggle move first? like,
That's not my. I'm not doing.
I am not held
like,
liable if you break your own shit. Yeah.
It's not even. He wasn't even like recording the maze because like some people like to record the maze with their phone like while they walk through, but he wasn't recording. He was just like looking at it. So I'm like, and he dropped it. I'm like, nothing I can do about that, man. It's your phone. There was a couple scares I was proud of. I really loved it when I scared guys who were like twice my size, like big muscular guys. So I did that. My trick was I would crouch down, kind of like a crab, and I would like circle around them, and then like they're not looking, and I go in front of them. I pop out in front of them, and both these two different occasions, but they're like both big tough guys, and they're both like, "Whoa! Oh my god! Oh, you scared me." I'm like, haha, yes, I did.
That's my job. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. There was I'm trying to think. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned this last time. Maybe I did, but I made this guy trip over his girlfriend when I scared him big time. He fell like forwards, and he like fell like over his girl onto the ground, and then she fell too. I'm just like, wow.
Slapstick, my god.
Yeah, really lost your balance there, but that was fun. Those are like some of, I would say, like my funniest scares.
Love big reactions.
Anytime I scared like a teenage girl, they were really easy to scare. Scaring like I would say like parents or like grandparents, they're also like really fun to scare because they have like a great sense of humor about it too. They're just like, that's good, good job. So it's like they're clearly there to have fun, and that makes me happy too.
Oh, absolutely, because
like, yes,
it's our job to want people to have fun being scared. It's not like we're trying to, we're gonna be, we don't want to traumatize people. There's a good chunk of scare actors who are trying to traumatize people. Like that's their goal. Like I said, it really depends on the scare actor and everything, but most scare actors, we're hired because we just love to scare and we want to have fun with people who like to be scared. So it really pisses me off when people yell at me about scaring them. It's like, why are you here? You paid to be here for me to scare you. I'm paid by the hour. I don't care if you get scared or not. Like, it's not like commission work where, oh, you signed a paper, I got scared, she gets this much money. No, I get paid by the hour. So be scared or not. If you pee your pants, that's my own personal goal.
Yeah, I'm not responsible for your cleaning bill or your cell phone bill. You know,
if you break your phone, that's your responsibility. Don't be on your phone. Just take that as a lesson from Paul here. Don't be on your phone when you're at haunt. Okay.
Because you never know when somebody might pop out and scare you.
And you might drop your phone and you might break it. I really didn't like, oh, thank you for hosting, Doc. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I don't like it when people are on their phone and then they get mad at me for trying to pop out and scare them, because there have been quite a few times where like these people would be like, excuse me, I'm busy. Could you not? I was like, no, what? It's my job. I'm doing my job. Yeah, what's more important than me scaring you right now? You are at a haunt and I'm paid to scare you.
It's dark outside or inside or wherever the heck you are, and you're with like in a big group of like crowded people walking through. Like, why? There's so much to get distracted by with like the mazes and the sets and the costumes. Why are you looking at your phone? Yeah,
you're here for like, just look anywhere and you will find something interesting. If it's not an actor, it's a prop. If it's not a prop, it's a set piece, and there's so much there to see. Why are you in your phone?
There are
Pay attention to me.
They come through. Yeah, they come through the haunts and the mazes, and like just to like appreciate like the set design. Yeah. Like, people who are into like production design, art design, everything. They're like, oh wow, this is nice and everything. I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, good for them. They really appreciate this kind of work. And then that's when I scare them.
Just they seem really into this one thing.
Yeah.
Time to distract them.
They'll be like standing like in front of the plane and being like, "Oh yeah, this is the War of the Worlds," and then they'll be like, "Rah!" I'm like, "Oh yeah,
right, it's scary time." Okay, get a little distracted. I still remember this big guy, huge guy, coming through my zone in 2018, and we had the fire tower. And the fire was going off, and he's like walking into my zone, super distracted by the fire. He's like staring right into the fire. And I was standing in front of him. I wasn't moving. And I was too stubborn to get out of his way. I wasn't even going to start backing up or anything. I was literally just standing in front of him, staring at him and waiting for him to notice me. And right before he touched me is when he looked down and noticed where I was, and he screamed like a little girl. You would not expect that noise to come out of that man that size. I mean, seriously. He was like, yeah. And he backs up, and he's like, I didn't see you. And I really wish I could reply. I really wanted to say to him, like, do you know how long I've been standing here staring at you? Like, it's been like 2 minutes, pal. You've been like... I didn't move. I was about to step back because he was about to like knock me over. That's how into the fire he was. But I got him. I didn't have to do anything.
That's amazing. And to piggyback off of that, you know, actually that kind of reminds me. I remember a couple of times when I would scare somebody, but it's like one of those things where it's like I'm standing next to somebody, like whether there's a crowd of like people going through or they're not looking, I'm just like kind of standing. And there are people around us, like me and the person who's not looking, but the person's still not looking at me. But like everybody's like surrounded, like, oh, look, that scary guy is gonna scare that person. Watch, and then they're not noticing for a long period of time, and then they finally turn, and then I'm not doing anything. I don't raise my knife. I don't say boo or whatever. I'm just like kind of standing there. They're like, I didn't see you there. Oh my god.
Okay.
That was.
I'm going to say something, and people are definitely going to use it to their advantage, but I'm going to say this. The thing that creeps me out the most in either movies or comic books even, like, it's when this character, you look at them and they're looking like away or a certain way or, I don't know, like this. Yeah. And then they look away, do something else, but when they look back, they're in the exact same spot, but their eyes are now watching you. That thing creeps me out. That creeps me out. And I use that to my advantage. Obviously, I can't change where the wolf looks because it was just set in piece. But I did incorporate that into some of my scares where I would pretend to be decoration. And you don't need to scare big every time. And I think I told you this. Yeah, for those who don't know, this is the mannequin scare that I would do as the wolf, where I would pretend to be decoration with the photo shoot area that people could do. And I would sneak into the fog, stand there, wait for the fog to dissipate, and stand incredibly still. I would even slow my breath and everything so that people really thought I was decoration. And the best scare was from this one guy and his girl. The guy comes up to pose with me, and he's posing, and the girl is taking the picture. And while he's looking at the camera, I just turn my head to him. So so the wolf mouth is open and it's bloody, right? So if he were to turn first, he would just see the side of the wolf head, right? Because I was looking forward. But then I turned. I just started looking at him, which freaked the girl taking the picture out. And when he got confused, he was looking at her going, what are you freaking out about? And she was like, she could not say words. And then he was like, what are you? He like looks at me and he sees open wolf bloody mouth at that point. And it was so beautiful because I didn't have to do anything. And then from there I like burst out and scared people from there. And it was great because I didn't have to do a whole lot. I just turned my head and freaked everyone. It was like a chain reaction scare too, because it first scared her and then it confused him. And then I scared him. It was great. So don't need to scare big. Think smart. Yeah. Smarter, not harder.
I've done a scare like that where I pretended to like be like a statue. I was just kind of like leaning against the railing, and then they would be watching me as they went by, and then all I have to do is just turn my head, and they'll be like, "Oh, no."
Oh, I love mannequin scares.
Great.
Yeah,
that's hilarious too. Yeah. Speaking of, I just want to say, speaking of your costume and your maze was one of my favorites from 2018.
Oh, I was in the zone though.
The zone, I should say, yeah.
There was a maze in a zone. Sorry, you're talking about the maze or the zone?
I'm talking about the trick or treat. That zone also I loved as well. Yeah, I keep, again, I keep getting zone and maze often like mixed up and like the different areas
Yep.
haunts they call them, but yeah, those are always fun to go through.
Yeah, yeah. I love zones because you have so much freedom to move
Mm,
around and get creative, and that's how I get most of my stories is because I got creative and you like really interact with people or you could stalk them or something like that.
mm, yeah.
In mazes, it's not for everyone though because they don't like to be out in the open. They don't know how to get creative because there's nothing to hide behind when you're in a zone. So
Sure.
you have to get
Yeah.
creative with your scares. But in a maze, some people might prefer a maze because it's new people every few seconds, like I mentioned, and you just pop
Mm,
out, do your scare, go back in, and you still get big reactions, but you don't have to, be out
mm,
in the open constantly. And it's exhausting.
mm.
It is. Sasu, hi, says, my cousin's been talking big talk of going to a scare event with me because I rip on him hard for talking big and then hiding all Phasmo so he didn't die multiple games. Oh, I see. I told him we would go to HHN or not sometime. Question, do rides function at night or only during the day? I'm going to try and getting a chair so I can have energy to enjoy all the scares. That would be exhausted me by getting spooked. If you could work any zone or maze, which would you love to land in? Those are two separate things. So depends on the haunt, depends on where you go, depends on if it's a theme park or just a maze. Because if it's just a maze, it's just a maze. You just go through and that's it. If you go to a theme park, sometimes the rides will be open, sometimes not. At Not Scary Farm, yes, they are optional. You could ride some roller coasters and stuff. I know that for a fact. Halloween Horror Nights, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
I was
think
gonna say
so.
when I went in 2019, I remember the Mummy ride was open. The Mummy roller
Was
coaster.
it?
We went on
Okay.
that. My friends and I. Yeah, we did. No, was it 2000? I know the rides were open. Those were open. The Walking Dead attraction was open as well, and
Yeah.
that's part of Universal Studios.
Well,
That
not
I
anymore.
guess
It's
was also a
closed
maze, and then they
down,
added it as an attraction.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Whatever. I'm trying to think of. I'm not transform. I know Mommy, Walking Dead. Oh, you know what it was? I did not get to go on this yet. The Jurassic World ride
I haven't
was
done
open
Jurassic
in
World either.
2019. I
Yeah.
did not get to go on it yet. I was like, I gotta go to plan a trip to Universal Studios, but then it shut down because of the you know what.
The
Um,
mess.
and
Yep.
so I missed out on an opportunity to go to that. I did not get to go the two times that I went because I was with my friends. I'm like, why are we going to the rides? Let's go to the mazes for for Halloween Horror Nights. We can go to the park anytime. These rides will always be here. Um,
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
I would say, not Scary Farm. Yes, as far like I've been there twice, and the rides were open, but we didn't ride them because, like Paul said, we were there for mazes and stuff, so we would
Yeah.
focus on that. Universal, I'm usually working Universal, so I'm not super focused on the rides, and usually where I am, it's not even a ride that I'm near. So I actually don't know if anyone in chat knows answer that question. But even if they were open, my advice would be to not focus on rides so much. Enjoy the haunt itself because, like Paul said, the rides
Yeah.
are gonna be there even when haunt's not there. So focus on the haunt. And I also would say if you are only planning on going for one day for either Universal or Not Scary Farm, the theme park ones, get the pass, get the express pass or something if you're only going to be there for one night. If you're getting the pass, like the season pass, and you're going to go multiple times, you don't have to splurge and get the express lane pass or the fast pass, whatever version that has, because you could go multiple nights and you might see 2, maybe 3 mazes per night, but you won't see all of them in one night because it gets really busy. If you're only planning one night, splurge, get the fast pass, get the express pass, whatever front of the line pass, whatever the pass is called, splurge and get that, and then see all the haunts, see all the mazes.
Yeah. Also, I was going to add to that. It also depends on which night you go, because when I went last year, the last time I should say, I went on on Wednesday. I remember going on Wednesday night, and then I also remember going on a Sunday night, and they weren't as busy. Because Friday and Saturday nights are usually pretty busy, so you may not get to all the mazes that you want. Just for people in general who are watching here, but you have a better chance of hitting majority mazes or all the mazes if you go like on a Thursday or a Sunday night to Halloween Horror Nights Universal. I can't speak on Not Scary Farm because I've actually never been there. And,
it's fun. It's fun. It's creative. Yeah, I've only been there twice. Yeah. My first time going was when Halloween Horror Nights actors kind of took over the park because it was the one day that Knott's was working, but Halloween Horror Nights wasn't. So all the haunt actors went. I think William was there. William was there, and I remember William getting very mad at me.
Why, Will?
A lot of people got mad at me because I went alone.
Why?
I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need to go with a group of people, and I know what I want in a haunt. So I went alone, knowing...
You drove there by yourself?
Yeah, I bought my ticket, and I drove myself, and I went to the park alone, and I didn't, like, coordinate with anybody. Because I knew that other actors were going to be there around the time I was there, and even if they weren't, I'd still have fun going on my own. But then I did actually run into a lot of people I knew, a lot of other actors from Halloween Horror Nights, and every time they were like, "Who did you come with?" I would say, "No one, I came alone," and everyone would get mad at me, like, "Why didn't you tell us? You could have come with us." I'm like, no, it's not like I don't love you or anything. It's like I knew I'd run into you, and I don't want to hold anyone back because I know what I want to do, and I don't want to like be dragged along with other people because it's like some people were like, "Oh, we're gonna hit up this way next. You want to come?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I already hit that one, and I don't want to waste time doing it again," you know?
Okay.
Yeah. So they just got so mad at me, like, "Why didn't you tell us? You should have come with us." I'm like, "But I'm here now. Hi. Sorry." I was like,
Some
I don't.
people just like to march to the beat of their own drum, you know?
Yeah, that's me.
Thing.
That's always how I've been, you know? Like, I love hanging out with people, don't get me wrong, but it's not like I don't want to be a burden or, like, they're a burden to me. It's nothing like that. It's just like, what's the point of coordinating with other people if I know I'm going to run into them anyway? And go through all the stress of trying to park near each other and, like, meet up here and then wait around and just let's go have fun. Go with the flow.
Especially if it's like a big group of people too, I guess.
Yeah, it's a lot of people at the park at one time. So that was the first time I went. The second time I went was with my boyfriend Glenn, and that was not last year, obviously, because the mess, but the year before. So 2019, when I was a guest at all the haunts. I wanted to hit up all the haunts when I could. And like I said, we never really hit the rides, but we went through all the mazes. He happened to have known one of the people who worked on the mazes, like was tech for some of the mazes. So she, thank God, got us through front of the line for like all the mazes so that we could see them all, because it was a busy day. And I want to go back to what you were saying about what days to go. Great advice. Yeah, go on, if you can, go on some of the days that are less likely to have the people there, like Wednesdays, Thursdays, Sundays. Fridays and Saturdays, super busy, no matter what. Yeah. It's interesting, though, because Halloween Day, it's a toss-up. It's either really busy or not busy at all. It's never in the middle. It's really tough to gauge.
Remember, I speaking on Halloween, when I did it back in 2018, Halloween was on a Wednesday that year. So it was Wednesday to Sunday, that run, that last week, and it was not busy at all on that day. I mean, compared to all the other days. And then I think a couple other days after that, they were fine, but Halloween night was not busy. I remember that.
It usually isn't.
I have a friend here joining us.
What's your cat's name?
Her name is Bella. She just hopped onto my lap. Well, I picked her up, but
yeah,
you know, she likes.
Bella.
Bella. She. Okay, fine.
I would normally have my cats too, but I'm in the new place, and my cats are still in the old place. And even if they were in the new place, we have our own media room, so the cats won't be bugging me during live streams anymore, you guys. Unless you spend a certain amount of howls here on my Twitch, they're not going to be shown. Sasa goes, Kitty, Bella. Maroon Wolf goes, Bella. Yeah.
She's sitting on my desk right now. My laptop pouch she now uses as a place to sit.
Oh, it's because she wants to feel like she's doing what you're doing.
Yeah, she is.
Aww.
She's warmed up to me a lot more since I've moved back home here to Michigan. I've had her since my junior year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's...
Impressive. Oh, she seems like a sweetie. Oh, I miss my cats now. Oh, but
what are your cats' names?
Huh?
Your cats' names?
Buckaroo and Tulip.
Those are awesome. So cute.
I always knew I wanted a cat named Buckaroo. I don't know where that came from, but it was just a random thing I would tell people in middle school. They were like, "Where do you see yourself in 10 years?" And I would say, "I don't know, living in a single apartment with a gray cat named Buckaroo." And who knew that would actually come true? Partly because I said it and I wanted it to come true, but it did end up happening. So I had Buckaroo, and I knew I wanted a second cat because Buckaroo was just a baby. And I wanted him to have like a friend too. And I had a dream before going out and like searching for my cats. And in the dream, I had a bunch of cats surrounding me, and my mom was there. And she was like, "Are these cats all yours?" I'm like, "No, I don't know whose these are." And I open a door and they all run out except for one little gray kitty. And I pick her up and my mom goes, "Is that one yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, her name is Tulip." And then I woke up, I'm like, "Tulip." Her name is Tulip.
It came to me in a dream.
It came to me in a dream. It was really weird. But yeah, that's the true story of how I ended up naming my cats. Yeah. Off topic. Yeah. So another thing about scheduling also, if people are interested, specifically for Halloween Horror Nights, I don't know if it stretches to other haunts, but I assume it does because everyone has the same thought process. The first couple weeks of a haunt, super dead. Feel free to go if you don't want crowds, but also keep in mind the actors are still getting hang of their roles and their areas, so it might not be the best performances, but it's still a good time. Like, obviously we were hired because we're professionals and you're gonna get scared and it'll be fun no matter what. But you know, it's just food for thought. Like, it's less crowded, but the performances might not be like top notch as if it were like toward the end of the run. I don't know. And we're going to be sore and we're going to be slow and we're going to be tired no matter what. Sasu, sorry.
I concur. I was going to say I concur on that, especially because I mentioned in the previous stream, I think it was like day 1 or day 2 where I accidentally I broke my prop and then I had it stolen. So already that first week was not off to a great start, but then it got better after that.
It gets better. Everyone gets
continue.
and also the first couple of weeks, people are still finding their footing in other ways too, because we lose like half the actors because they feel like, oh, this isn't for me for whatever reason, and then they quit, and then we have to fill those slots with other people. So it's like just keep that in mind. If you have any other questions about it, feel free to ask. But that's my 2 cents worth on that. Sasu, if you could work any zone or maze, which would you love to land in?
I think I mentioned this earlier. If they brought back Nightmare on Elm Street, I would love to do that. I would love to be Freddy Krueger. In terms of the ones that I've seen or been part of, it was in like 2018, 2019. I would love to do something with the Universal Monsters maze, just because I loved that maze in 2018.
That was
a
fun.
Great maze.
It was a fun maze.
Yeah.
I loved going through and have the Wolfman figure pop out of the fireplace and go, oh, what a weird place to put a mirror, everybody. Get it? Because I was a wolf. Yeah. Anyway, I was a wolf that year. I was like, oh, hey, it's me.
Yeah. That was fun. I would love to do that. I would love to see a cabin in the woods maze. I would definitely be down to be a scare actor for that, because I heard Florida did that one year.
I really am curious to know what they do during rain, because it rains all the time in Florida. Just to get back to the beginning of our stream, I just want to know what they do in rain. So
the rain
curious.
won't go away.
The rain will not go away. So what do they do with all the masks and the makeup and stuff? Like, where do they go? we scramble when it rains because it never rains and we're not built for rain. So we're just like, water from the sky, run wherever there's covering. It's really fun.
LA freaks out so much when it rains.
It does. Like, no one knows how to drive in general. You add water from the sky and it's all crazy. We passed by so many accidents just on the way home today. It was really crazy. But yeah, California not built for rain. The people or the roads. It did. Yeah, we're in the middle of 4 storms, buddy. Yeah. I know.
It does,
and also,
I noticed it mostly rains in January in LA. I've noticed that.
January, and it's sometimes April too. Sometimes that. It depends on the year, you know. But here's the fun bit. Glenn and I rented a U-Haul today, and we are moving today and tomorrow during these 4 storms. We planned that real good.
Oh, wow. That's gonna be fun.
My life. But at least we might have a fridge tomorrow, so it all works out. We'll have a couch, we'll have a bed.
Cats.
The cats are coming sometime next week after we pet-proof everything first. So we get all the big furniture in tomorrow. We pet-proof everything, and then we bring the cats and the bunny over, and it'll be great. We'll have a full family again. Bunny? Yeah, we have a little bunny named Draco.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we have like a zoo now, and eventually we hope to get a dog, but you know, we need a big enough place, so.
Yeah,
we just love animals. Well, the cats are mine and the bunny's his, so when we started dating and like living together, obviously all the pets have to live with us too, and then we just ended up with 2 cats and a bunny. It's just... it's so funny, right? It's just like, it's like the Brady Bunch, like, this much and then this much, and now we're a big family.
The Bunny Bunch.
The Bunny Bunch. Oh, that is the place I think he got the bunny. It's called Bunny Bunch. I don't know. That would be funny. I need to ask him, like, is it Bunny Bunch? Is that where you got the bunny? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it's really interesting because we keep them in separate rooms. So the bunny stays in the bedroom with us, so we could keep an eye on him and everything. And then the cats stay in the living room area, so that they're, you know, like predator and prey. You got to keep them separate, right? But because they're like brothers and sisters now, we want them to slowly introduce to each other. So we started them separate. They knew something was in the bedroom, so they would just hang out and watch and like try and get underneath the door, like, what is it? What's over there? And then if they see the bunny when we open the door, they'd be like, what is that? What is that? And we were expecting a little bit more of a reaction the first time we brought Draco into the living room to like let him hop around and with the cats there, and we were watching and ready to grab in case the cats wanted to like actually pounce on him or something, which I don't think they would do, but also instinct might kick in. I don't know. So we were ready to pounce.
What are bunny cat relations like?
Right? It's weird. I think it really depends on the animals themselves and their personalities, because my pets are pretty chill and they've met dogs before, so they know like other creatures exist, but other than that, like they haven't experienced much. So we were very curious to see their reaction. Buckaroo is a big boy. He's also a fraidy cat. He would not expect it from him, but he's just like so expressive with his eyes. He's just like, fuck, what's going on? But we introduced the bunny to him and he does not budge. He's just like,
it's like, this guy again.
He's just like keeping an eye on him, like, oh, he moved. All right. All right. And he's just like watching him. And then when the bunny would hop around, he would go up and like sniff its face. And the bunny would be like, oh, okay, you're in my face. And then Buckaroo's like in his fur, like, oh, you're a bunny. Oh my God, what are you? It was so funny. And then Tulip's going for his butt. So there's like a cat in the bunny's face and a cat in the bunny's butt. And the bunny's just like, what's going on? And the bunny hops away and the cats are like, oh, that's a shame. And then they go back to sleeping. Like there was almost no reaction at all. They're just like, yeah, that's a thing. Cool.
It's just their own way of communicating. It's like their own secret language that they have.
It's so funny though. Like we were expecting a bigger reaction. The cat's just like, yeah, that's a thing. Cool. All right, whatever. Sasu goes, what do you... Sorry to get back on topic. Just hop back on topic like the bunny hopped away from the cats. Anyway. Segways. Not my forte, but I try. What do you end up doing on the dead days? We still scare.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We scare
What do you mean?
as much as we could. We scare because we care.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, there weren't. I don't remember that many dead days, but I just remember like dead periods of time. I remember at Shram, or maybe like 10 minutes during like on one particular day where nobody came through. None of the trams came through, so I was just kind of standing. Then I would talk to one of the other Scareactors, and then all of a sudden we see people coming, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's go get to positions. But I remember there were a couple times. It was towards the end where there were just dead periods of time, not so much dead days, I would say.
Yeah, like there are never any days when there's no one in the park. There's always someone coming through. It's just less frequently. So I want to make this clear. Right. We are there to scare. We are paid to be there. So we have sets. It's not like, oh, we wait for someone who's in the maze and then we go out and scare. No, we're still out there. Even if there's no one in the maze, we have to still be out there in case someone comes through the maze. So we could be out there for the full 30-minute set and have no one come through if it's really that dead a day and no one likes the maze, so they won't go through the maze. But we're still out there and we're still ready to scare in case someone does come through. That's our job. Is we are expected on set from this time to this time. We will be there from this time to this time, and then we take our break, whether people come through or not. If they come through, great, we'll scare them. If not, we're bored. We're just hanging around, ready to go. Sasso also goes, do you have any first week/weeks stories you could share, learning moments or funny moments?
One of the moments that I already mentioned before was here a learning moment for me as well. Just for some reason, my prop knife broke during that first week. I don't remember if it was the preview night or opening night when it happened, but I do remember on opening night my knife got stolen. I don't know how, but it did. So just one of the things that I learned was just take care of your props, because I got 2 strikes and they said if anything happens again, we're not going to be able to give you a prop for the rest of the run. And luckily I took care of my new knife very well throughout the whole run. Nothing happened to it, so that was great. That happened during my first week, but also first week, just like a funny story. I mentioned this in the previous stream with you, Noelle, but I'll mention it to the new folks watching here. First week, opening night, when they had celebrities come through, I scared Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. Yeah.
I scared Vanessa Hudgens. She came through. She's a big horror fan, big Halloween Horror Nights fan. She actually released like a clothing line, like a Halloween related merch, and I bought one of her shirts. But I remember that night I scared her, and she was like, oh, like I went in front, but then I did my trick where I would circle back around and then I'd scare her from behind, and she like really screamed and jumped out, and so that was fun. That was a nice, funny. I was very proud of that moment, and I wanted to also meet her. I've had a crush on Vanessa Hudgens since forever, so yeah.
Understandable. She's cute. I agree. I would say learning moments. This isn't from necessarily a haunt. I did mention working at the San Francisco dungeon before. This was a big learning moment for me of like, just keep that engine going even when you're on break. Like, be ready to go out on set even when you're on break, because like you're still working through those hours even though you're on break. Anything can happen. I learned this the hard way because I went on my break. For those who don't know, the San Francisco Dungeon, owned by the same company as Madame Tussauds, the Wax Museum Company. It's a live theatrical attraction about San Francisco's dark history. They originated in London, so there's a London dungeon, and it's like a lot of the big major cities have a dungeon. So there's one in San Francisco. I used to be an actor there. and you would go room to room to room and be monologued at by people like me. And there was like 10 of us at a time or something like that, 10 and 11 of us, several different rooms. So you start off in the first room, you meet this character, and they like send you off to the dungeon, like they doom you to the dungeon. And then you start going through all the dark parts of the history. So you start with like the gold rush, and then the gangs, and then court, and what was it, Miss Piggy and a brothel, and then you get shanghaied and you're sold onto a ship, and then you catch the plague, and now it's the plague room, and then you go to Alcatraz, and that was kind of the last room. There's another, they updated it since.
Sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean if you were actually part of the ride.
I mean, it's like kind of a water ride, not really. The San Francisco one is a rink-a-dinky little raft that goes like 50 meters, and that is it in water, and it breaks down all the time. So it's not anything to sneeze at. The one in London, though, it is an actual like ride. Like you go down and splash, and then it like brings you around, very much like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's pretty cool. Obviously it's not Disney, so it's not like anything to sneeze at, but it is more of a ride for sure in the London one. I went through it with Glenn when we went to London Fair like last year. So that was cool just to see like, hey, what's a dungeon that people actually care to fix when it breaks and like put budget into? Let's see this. But yeah, so I was working in the San Francisco dungeon. I was working as Miss Piggy, Madam of the Brothel House, and whenever people come in, I have to open the door and act surprised and, oh, you scared me, but you're so handsome, I'll let it slide, come on in. And then I like let them into my room. So to know when people are about to get to my room, there's actually a trigger where someone, it's like this, not animatronic, but it's like this puppet that kind of like shakes. It's this guy grabbing onto the bars like he's in jail or something, and he like shakes the jail a little bit, like the cell door, and it creates this like shackle sound. So when I'm outside and I'm on my break, I could hear that shackle noise and know, oh, they're in the hallway right outside my door, so I need to slip into my room and then start the show, right? I got distracted. I was in the break room. I didn't realize what time it was. I was chatting with a friend. And then I checked the time and I'm like, uh-oh. Where is everyone? I'm confused. I see the person from the room before mine walk into the break room, and they're like, I sent them into your room like 2 minutes ago. Where are you? And I was like, fuck! Ah! And I like ran in, and there were people, and I peek in to see if anyone, like, they never listen to the directions, and you're not supposed to open doors. I was pleasantly surprised to see no one in my room yet. It's like, oh, they actually listened to the instructions. Oh, nice. They didn't like burst through the door. So I go in, no one's in there, and then I opened the door. I'm like, oh, gave me a heart attack. And I started the show. How long have you been out here? And they were like, a few minutes. I was like, oh, I was finishing up with a guest. Sorry. Just like make it as gross as possible. Because that's the dungeon brand, you know, like, sorry, I just was finishing up some work in there, finishing up a job, you know, something like, sorry, I was just doing a job. Anyway, let's go. So I lead them into my room and then I start the show. But oh God, you got to think on your feet in that situation. Sorry if it's inappropriate, but it's a very inappropriate place, so don't bring your kids, you know? I think the San Francisco one is way more tame than the London one, though. That's for sure. So the lesson there, people, is even if you're on your break, pay attention. You're there to do a job, be on set when you're supposed to be on set, set a timer and everything. With that said, if you are supposed to be on break, feel free to take that full break. Like, do not let a supervisor say like, hey, I know you have a 30-minute break, but it's only been 15 minutes. Can you hop in early? Say no. Legally, you are required to have a certain amount of a break. So don't let them intimidate you otherwise. Yeah, so, but yeah, sometimes there will be moments when you're just caught off guard. I told this story before, I think, where I was at my grindstone in 2017, Halloween Horror Nights, and I was doing the floss dance with the Jason across the way from me, and then everyone in the area started doing the floss, dance too? And then guests just like sprinted through screaming. Or like, didn't know anyone was here yet. Okay, let's just sit down and go, ah, again. Don't be caught off guard. like me.
Yeah.
Because you can't really argue your way through, like, your face is ground up from a grindstone and Jason's right there and I'm doing the floss dance. There's no logic there. I need to be sitting and screaming. Oh my god. Let's see. If I heavily relate to this story because of suddenly appearing customers at my old job. You have such improv talent. Thank you. I want to go the London one so badly. Yeah, there's Sweeney Todd there. That's really cool. Honestly surprised LA doesn't have it. They have other ones, but nothing like that. Yeah, they don't have a dungeon in LA. They do have a Madame Tussauds, but if in all honesty, the Madame Tussauds is only there because they originally weren't planning on having a Madame Tussauds in LA. They knew it wouldn't do well because there's so much other cool stuff people can see. So they knew it would be a profit loss ultimately in LA. But they do have it because there were so many people complaining that they have these wax models of celebrities, but yet nothing to represent the celebrities in LA where the celebrities are, right? Mm-hmm. So they just opened it to appease the crowd and just check a box, you know, like it includes celebrities. Have one in LA. The Flosser, yeah.
Place like that definitely belongs in LA. I mean, Madame Tussauds in any location can attract anybody because they always have like celebrities and famous people and so many different people you could do Madame Tussauds. I never thought of it being like a loss.
It is a profit loss ultimately. At least when I was working at the dungeon, they talked about it. It might have improved since then. I doubt it, honestly. And I even worked at that Madame Tussauds in LA. For a brief time. It was hilarious. Funny story, this one. I moved to LA. I thought I was a shoo-in to work at a Cinemark. Like, I wanted a minimum wage job that had flexible hours because I was here for acting, right? So that's what I wanted. Yeah. Just something to pay the bills, you know? So I thought I was a shoo-in for Cinemark because I used to be an assistant manager for a Cinemark. So I would go and swoop in and say, like, dude, I just want concessions work. I don't need anything special. I don't even need to be an assistant manager again. Just know that I've gone through the training and I understand your side of things, so I will be the best employee. And they never got back to me. They would call me back and say, like, hey, sorry, my hiring manager is still out, so I don't think I can. It's like, oh my god. They ghosted me. They really did. It's like, oh man, not just dating in LA, but it's this too, like job hunting too. They full on ghost you. What the hell? So after a few months chasing after this Cinemark,
they probably thought you were overqualified.
Yeah, but no one said that.
They probably thought you were overqualified.
Yeah, but no one said that. I mean, where's the complaint though? I can say I'm overqualified, but I want this job anyway. What's the harm in it? It means I'm gonna do a great job. It's better than being underqualified. Anyway, yeah, you're right. I was very much overqualified. They got intimidated. After a couple months, being jobless and almost out of my savings already in LA, I was like, I just need a job. So I thought, okay, I'd be a shoo-in also for the Madame Tussauds because I used to work at the dungeon. Just call up my manager from the dungeon and have him say, like, yeah, hire her on the spot, whatever. I go in for my interview. The manager at the time asked me, like, okay, so where do you see yourself working here in the future? And I said, honestly, I don't. I'm going to leave here in just 2 months. Can I have this job, please? And he said, you know what? Yeah, have the job. We need someone like you anyway. I was like, cool, thanks. Never say anything like that in a job interview, ever. Never say, oh, I just intend to work here for a couple months. No one's gonna hire you. I did not expect him to hire me, but something told me, like, I just want to be honest, you know, and say, look, I'm just gonna work here until I find the next best thing, to be honest. I already don't like it here. But hire me anyway. You need me.
They appreciated your honesty.
Yeah, and the guy's like, yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, we need you. You're hired. I go, great, thanks. And I literally worked there for 2 months, and then I left and started working for Menchie's. And I hated working there so much. Oh, I hated going to work. It was great. I love going through Madame Tussauds. I'm not bad-mouthing Madame Tussauds at all. It's just not for me, because they stuck me in, photography when I used to be an actor, and I did a really good job, but it was so much work. Let's see, Sasu. I would absolutely love to go through a Sweeney maze. Can you imagine going in through a tunnel, ending up in the kitchen where the overworked, sleep-deprived baker is, and he opens the locked door that shows all the bodies next to the lift, the pies go on, or entering through Sweeney's parlor and walking down to the hellish bakery. That would be cool. That would be cool.
This person typed that entire whole thing.
Yeah, Sasu types paragraphs. It's awesome. It shows me that they are committed. I love it. Yeah, I would absolutely love to work in a Sweeney Todd. Can you imagine? Could you imagine? What's her name? Miss, help me out. Blanking.
Mrs. Lovett.
Lovett, thank you. Because in my head, I had Miss Pigott still from the story. And because she is like loosely based on Mrs. Lovett, honestly. Because they took the London Dungeon and they ever so tweaked the script to fit San Francisco, but not entirely. Like the plague. Yeah, the plague hit London, and you had the London plague script, and it's very minorly changed. Yeah, technically the plague came to San Francisco one time. One dude caught it, and that was it. But you're kind of fudging it. It's not like a main part of San Francisco's history.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to be Mrs. Lovett. That'd be awesome.
Maybe somebody just really wanted to readapt Sweeney Todd, but for an American setting.
Yeah, that is essentially it. Like the Shanghai room and the Mrs. Lovett to Miss Pigott. Yeah, it's definitely a reworking of it. Like it's very similar, but the London one, so much bigger, so much better. I love it so much. I miss it. I want to go through it again. I was expecting it to just take an hour. It took 2 hours to go through. So just keep that in mind if you guys are ever in London. But yeah, it was cool. Anyway,
Miss Piggy, by the way.
Miss Piggy. Oh my god, I should have done a Miss...
You're saying Miss Piggy.
I should have done Miss Piggy as Miss Pigott. I should have made her Miss Piggy. I don't know how to do her voice. What's her voice sound like? Like, Kirby! Like, I don't know.
Really... Kermit!
I can't do her voice. I would master her voice. I would master her voice. My Miss Pigott, she is bipolar. She switches from being the nicest, sweetest thing to being like this crazy woman. And I loved that about her. She was so much fun. She reminded me of Tyros from Soul Calibur a little bit. Like, oh, come over here so I can whack ya. You know, like it would just flip so suddenly. But my favorite, I will tell this story. It's nothing to do with scare acting, but it involves, I was in a scary place and I was acting, so whatever. My favorite story when it comes to Miss Pigott was there is this guy who worked there. His name's Tom, and he has this low, gravelly, raspy voice. Like he was the gang member. He was like the best gang member we had for that show. And he was just like, yeah, intimidating. I can't even do it justice. I cannot at all. But he had just this voice that was just so low and mean something, but he's such a teddy bear, you know? So it's just like super intimidating, low, gravelly, raspy voice, right? I'm Miss Pigott. I'm doing my show. And there's this line, that you have to pick a man in the audience. And he is, what's his name? Oh, God, what's his name? Okay, so you go through, and you have to pick someone. So be like, oh, back again, sir. Oh, I'll let Kitty know you're here. Kitty, the freaky guy's back. Get this saddle ready. And you just, like, shout that through the door. There's not actually a Kitty character. You're just like, Kitty, get the saddle ready. There was one show I did. I was not expecting this response. Apparently, Tom was on the other side of that door when I screamed that line, and he doesn't show his face, but he, like, opens the door ever so slightly so that people can hear him respond. It's still wet from last time, Miss Pigott! So I look at him, and I'm like, well, hose it off! Dry it off! We got him again! Anyway, welcome back, sir. Oh, Saddle Boy. That's what he's called. Welcome back, Saddle Boy. So we just like choose a random person and pick on them for that, and then we call on them several times throughout the show. But I was not expecting Tom to respond with that at all, so I had to improv. I'm like, Tom, why? And he was like, I was kidding. Oh god. Was there ever a time that you had to improv with a guest in scare acting when you were scare acting, and it was just like a beautiful moment? You're really proud of your improv in that moment.
I mean, I wouldn't say if I call this improv, but this was just my trick where I would just go in front of somebody, like scare them, but then I would like circle back around to make it look like I was gonna go scare other people, and I still would, but then I would circle back around and scare them. I really had to improvise whenever there were big crowds of people on any nights, because they would go through the path, like the Terror Tram. It's kind of like an open area near the plane, but they like create like this path for like people to go through, and it would get crowded, and the line wouldn't move often for, like seems like minutes and minutes, and I was stuck in between guests sometimes, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do here? I guess I gotta improvise, and that's when I started doing the crouching down, like kind of like maneuvering like through guests, like in between guests, so I could scare them, because I would crouch down, and then they wouldn't be looking, but then they look down and they see me, and they're like, oh my god, look, this one of them right here, and then I like go through, like do my crab walk again, and then I go behind and scare. So that was like a moment where like I had to improvise, but then I just started using it more often. That was one of my techniques, the crab walk.
That's great that you're playing with eye level, because no one ever thinks to look down or look up from eye level. So that's great that you played with that. That is another good point.
Especially with people who are really tall.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. They don't think to look down, and then poof, you're there, and scares them so bad. Absolutely play with eye level. And that is another good point you brought up of like, if you're presented with a problem, or like the scare is getting stale, or it's just not working, how do you fix that? Just try something. You don't know what's gonna work, and if it works well, you keep doing it. You could get creative with some really stupid stuff, to be honest. Like some person grabbed, I forgot who it was exactly, but it was one of the zombie kids in the trick-or-treat zone that we had. A lot of people were having trouble with how to pretend to be zombie mentally disabled children and make it scary, because they're not typical zombies of like, oh, I'm gonna eat your brains kind of thing. Like they still act like mentally disabled children. If you see the movie, that is what they are. But one person got creative, and they would do this like jump scare effect in a way where they would go up to someone and do this right in front of their face, like pretend to grab something. So it would create that jump scare effect, but they're chasing after something in the air, like, and I thought that was so creative. You could get creative in character for sure. I'm trying to...
Actually, it kind of reminds me, there was this other technique that I had where I had my knife, and I would just like I wouldn't like hit them, but it was like I would like scare them by like looking like I was gonna like shove it in their faces, and they would like back away. I never hit anybody with a knife.
Oh, good.
It was like one of those things. It's like, oh god. And then sometimes I had this thing where I would like stand in front of somebody, like looking like I was trying to scare them, like intimidate them, but then there'd be like somebody walking walking nearby, and then I turn and I'd scare them instead, and that's when they get scared, because they weren't expecting me to scare them. So the
beauty of peripheral vision. Of course,
yeah.
Of course. Oh, I absolutely took advantage of that.
Scare you? Think I wouldn't see you? I just saw you right there. So, yeah, that was fun.
Oh, my favorite thing when I was this crazy clown for one haunt before. This is not Halloween Horror Nights because I was allowed to talk. I was a crazy clown character, and I was like kind of like intimidating someone. We were doing this game of like tilt your head, stare, whatever. We were doing this for a few minutes, and people were walking by, and they were kind of like looking like, oh, this has been going on for a while. It's not going to change anytime soon. False sense of security, right? Peripheral vision. Someone walks in my peripheral vision. I just turn to them and be like, is this going to go on forever? Like I just turned to them real quick. And they were like, oh, I don't know. Hi, bye. Freaked them out. Because they were not expecting me to just all of a sudden be like, how are you? You know? Just... It wasn't like a super scary thing that I said. It was just like, what's that?
Just you caught him off guard. Yeah.
Exactly. Because like I've been playing with this one person for a while, going side to side a little bit, and then like we both got comfortable. So it even jumped. They jumped a little bit too because they weren't expecting me to just all of a sudden go what, you know. So you create that false sense of security, and then that real quick movement. And that creates that jump scare, even though I was still in plain sight. I just got creative. And as a crazy clown, like, it would make absolute sense for me to just be like, I'm bored. How about you? You know, what's up? You're my victim now. Just switch to the next person.
I wish I could have said those things at Tram. I wish we could talk.
The best thing is when you could talk as a clown because you can make best friends. My favorite part is, like, being part of a clique. Like, you'll always get those teenagers that are always in a circle and they're chatting or they're on their phones or something. My favorite thing is to crawl underneath them through their arms and then pop up in the circle and be like, what are we talking about? You know, what's going on? Give me the deets. Either they'll disperse and they're so scared that I even made it, or we became best friends and they would catch me up on the drama and I'd be like, ooh, drama, like catch me up, and then we'd be besties. It's so much fun. Because if you can't scare them, make them laugh. No matter what character you are, like if you can't scare them, make them laugh. You're there to entertain regardless. And what's more entertaining than having a freaky character just pop up in the center of your click circle and go, give me the deets, like.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I remember in 2018, Warner Brothers did their like version of Horror Nights, Horror Made Here, and they had an Arkham Asylum maze. I didn't attend the event, but I know they had Joker and Harley Quinn as characters there. I feel like what you just described in a quick click of girls, I feel like that's something Harley Quinn would do.
Oh, absolutely. I base all my crazy clown characters off of her. I am Harley Quinn. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I would absolutely, like, I try not to do her voice when I'm a crazy clown. Like, sometimes I default to it, but I don't want them to think, like, I am Harley, just Harley based. But if I was Harley, absolutely. Like,
it's funny. My character at Tram, my nickname for him was a discount Joker because he had long green hair. And
I remember you saying that.
Black eyes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that would be my version of the Joker, but I couldn't do the Joker voice. Oh, Holly, we're gonna get the Batman. You know, that kind of stuff.
Hey, that was great. Just what you did. Yeah, do that. And there's so many different Joker impersonations and iterations of his voice. Like, there's no one true Joker. Kind of like how there's no one true Harley Quinn. Like, a lot of people will either do the original from the animated series or they'll do Tara Strong's version from the video games. And they're ever so slightly different. And yeah. I don't count Margot Robbie's because I don't count Margot Robbie's because she couldn't get an accent throughout the whole movie in Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
anyway,
a little bit.
I am so critical of her.
She kind of Birds of Prey. Yeah.
I haven't seen Birds of Prey, so I can't base it off of that. I'll give you that one. But Suicide Squad specifically, I did see, and I will say, she definitely bounced around accents in that movie, and it pissed me off. It's like, okay, if you can't do Brooklyn accent, don't commit to the whole movie with it. At least do an American accent. No, you're still going Australian. Okay, cool. I know how hard it is to do accents. I am not knocking her for the effort. I'm just saying, if you cannot perfect a certain accent for a character in a movie, don't try the accent. Do something else. And yeah, it's kind of part of her character to have the Brooklyn accent, but I would be less critical of her if she committed to just a standard American accent or like more of a character accent, like character voice for her, rather than try for the Brooklyn and fall and then get it back and then fall again. And she just got rid of the accent too many times. As a linguist, I'm a linguistics major, so I look for those things. I'm just like, where's the accent?
Yeah, I'll say this. With her and like Birds of Prey, compared to Suicide Squad, she has a lot more to work with in Birds of Prey. She's a lot more fun to watch. She's clearly having a lot more fun doing it, and she has a little bit more of that accent. A couple times her Australian accent slips out, but it's like I think like more to appreciate there, more to enjoy there in Birds of Prey, just because it's a lot
I'll
more of
watch
a
it.
fun movie for her to be in, just a fun movie in general. I love that movie.
A
One of
lot
the
of
last
people
movies I
say
saw in theaters
that.
before the mess.
Good, good. I was gonna see it in theaters, didn't get to, and then of course the mess happened, and then I never got to. But I did see it's on HBO Max, I believe, or Amazon Prime. It's one of those. One of the streaming services I have.
HBO Max.
I don't have it. I'm stealing it from my boyfriend. We live together now. It's his account, whatever. But I think I saw it on one of the streaming services that we have, so I'm definitely gonna look it up and watch it because so many people are like, watch Birds of Prey, and I'll give it a chance. And I'm trying not to be too harsh on her with an accent because I know how difficult accents are. Yes, I study them. It doesn't mean I know how to do them necessarily. I just know how someone's doing them wrong. So I can analyze other people, but not myself. But I try not to be overly critical because, like I said, I know how hard accents are. But then again, you're getting paid how much to do a movie? And you have an accent coach. And this is a really beloved character that has a cult following. Like, you gotta get it right. You have to get it right.
Yeah. And this is also an actress who very rarely uses her own accent in like a lot of the movies that she's done.
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street, she did like a New York accent. What was the other one? Like I, Tanya, she did, I guess like a Midwestern, and well, other movies she does like an English accent, but I very rarely hear her own accent in movies.
It's interesting. Most Australians don't use their own accent. Like, if they're British, yes, they do in movies, absolutely all the time. Or TV shows. They do great American accents most of the time because, let's be honest, an American accent is just a lazy version of, not lazy version of British, but American, you relax everything a lot more. So it's a little easier to go British to American than American to British.
Yeah.
Absolutely could still be done, but it's harder. It is.
Plus, they're more classically trained than us.
They're just better in general, I guess. I don't know. So says the one dating a British guy, in case he's hearing me right now.
Oh, he's British?
Both his parents are from England. Yeah. Like, his whole family is in England, and that we went to England. That's why I was in London, actually, was to visit his family in England, and we just did like a little pit stop to London because I'd never been there before. So, yeah. It's funny because one of his uncles used to be, I don't want to say a movie star. He was an actor, and he was in a movie, and he was in commercials and stuff. And so when I met him, of course, we were talking acting and stuff, and he was making fun of the Scouse accent. Like, if you're from Liverpool, I am so sorry, but he was making fun of those with the Scouse accent. And I can't even do a British accent. I'm such a failed actor in that sense. Every actor needs to have a decent British accent, no matter, like, where in England it is from. You have to do at least something. I'm talking about Dean.
I'm hearing.
Yeah. You want to chip in some of that? So now I need to learn a Scouse accent really well and impress his uncle. Yay.
If anyone on stream doesn't know what a Scouse accent sounds like, for anyone who watches Great British Baking Show, it's Paul Hollywood's accent.
Paul Hollywood from Great British Baking Show, Scouse accent.
That's a Scouse accent.
Paul Hollywood. Interesting.
Yeah, look him up. He's a silver fox, that guy. He's handsome with the piercing blue eyes, and he knows how to bake pastries.
No, bread.
And pastries. He's really good at it.
Yeah, but his specialty.
But his specialty is bread. He bakes really good bread, and he's a looker with those piercing blue eyes, with the accent. Bake bread. I'll love you more.
I've never watched the show Great British Bake Off.
We've kind of been binge watching it during the mess, so
yeah.
We are very familiar. He kind of got me into it, but it is really interesting. It's like, it's so interesting to see the difference in cultures, because in most competition reality shows based in America, the competition's fierce. It's like, I'm not going to help you because you're my competition. In fact, I'm going to spread a rumor about you to make it seem like you're a horrible person and people won't vote for you. So you're going to get kicked off and then I'll have a better chance of winning. You know, it's that kind of like underhanded competitiveness that gets them on TV. But in the British shows, they actually help each other. Like, it's so interesting. They're just like cheering. They're cheering each other on. They're just like, oh, you did a fantastic job on your cake. They're like, no, it's a mess. No, honey, it's great. Do you need help? I finished mine early. I can help you decorate yours. Here, let's do this. And they're just so helpful. It's like, that is the competition I like. Because it's based more on skill rather than sabotaging each other, you know?
That sounds very Canadian. And I say that as a Canadian. That sounds,
well, they're
sounds so nice of
both
them.
cultures are very polite and kind, so I can see it. Yes,
True,
they don't like to say
both.
bad things about people at all. Like even if someone got
countries
voted
from the
off,
Commonwealth.
they're just like, you did such a great job. I'll miss you so much. Like, they're so nice. The culture difference. Doc, did you answer my question yet? What question? Comment it again. I must have missed it. I'm so sorry. I don't look at chat like constantly, man. Go easy on me. I do have to call it soon. We've been on for quite a while, and I still need to drive to my old apartment and pick stuff up because I'm moving.
It's 9:40. I was gonna say what time is it? Oh yeah, I forgot. Different time zone.
Different time zone, and I'm so sorry to be keeping you up. So we'll call it after this. Doc, what is Paul's favorite anime? Do you have a favorite anime?
I'm sorry. I don't really watch anime.
You are not a weeb? What? How dare you?
It's okay. I'll tell you this. When I was a kid, I mean, it's very basic, but when I was a kid, I was really into Pokemon.
I'll count it.
Not so much nowadays. I will say this. One of my friends, a long time ago, he had a housewarming party that was also a viewing party for an anime called Attack on Titan. So I've seen at least the first 13, 14 episodes of that, but I never finished it.
Okay.
I don't know. I never really got into anime. This doesn't count, but it's anime inspired. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of my all-time
I counted
favorite
as
shows.
anime on my stream because I did a TikTok live and we did favorite anime and someone said Avatar: The Last Airbender and I included it. So now for me and my streams, it does count as anime. So there we go. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really into anime, unfortunately. I like animated shows. I like animation in general.
Yeah.
Anime, I just never really took the time to get into that much.
It's a certain vibe, you know, with anime. Yeah. It's like you got to be in the right mood for anime specifically, and you got to, if you don't know Japanese, which, you know, most Americans don't, got to read the subtitles, and then you don't really enjoy it as much. So I understand. I'm kind of in that same boat, but not at the same time, where I didn't watch anime for a very long time, except for Pokemon. And I didn't see Attack on Titan until like last year during the mess. It was one of the animes that I binged. There's a lot of different kind of anime out there, and I had to learn that the hard way. And that's when I figured out what kind of shows I'm more into. Because, yeah, I would try and watch Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and everything. And, yeah, they were good shows, but I wasn't super into it. I was really into Pokemon. I was really into Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, those are some of my favorites, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I liked Sailor Moon, and I liked Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and all those shows. But the ones I'm really into, I was really into Attack on Titan. I was really into The Promised Neverland. Apparently, I really like horror, but mixed with comedy. I really like My Hero Academia, so it really depends on the show and the vibe and what mood you're in and everything. So don't worry about it. I got a lot of weebs in my live streams, and we did like favorite anime and stuff before, so that's probably where that question comes from. Yeah, not everyone likes anime. We don't love you any less, Paul. Don't worry. Previous coworker and good friend doesn't as well. Not the biggest watcher of cartoons or animation in general, she tells me. And yeah, Maroon Wolf. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, Maroon Wolf was in that live stream of doing the favorite anime. But yeah, any final parting words? Any fun stories you want to end on, or advice to give? I think we're about ready to end the live stream soon.
Well, before I say anything else very quickly, I want to ask, Noelle, did you by did you skip this?
I did, yes. Yes, absolutely. I'm excited. I want to buy a denim vest specifically for my scare acting alumni patches or like other patches because I've only got the 3. But I want to make some of my own for like other haunts that I work. But yeah,
I just got the 2 over here, but I was so glad to have gotten this one. I would have auditioned this past year if it weren't for the mess. But these turned out really well. Yeah. What was the question? Oh yeah, like advice or stories. I've said this before in the previous stream when I talked about advice for Halloween Horror Nights. Make friends. Like make friends along the way. Talk to people, get to know people, like where they come from, everything, and like learn to, it took me a while to step out of my little comfort zone that I created because I wasn't really sure how I was going to get along with people at Horror Nights because it seemed like everybody already knew each other from doing Halloween Horror Nights or from working at Universal Studios, and I kind of felt like the odd one out because I was, a guy who had been working on movie sets for like the last few years, and I'm like, here I am working at a theme park, but everyone was really cool, everyone was really friendly, and just enjoy your time while you're there, and also stay hydrated as well. Eat
self-care
enough, drink
moments.
enough. Yeah. Take care of yourself because it is a very physically demanding job, but also a very fun job. It is what you make it. And I'm glad, like in the second half of my run, back I had fun and ended up staying in touch with a lot of people. And I wish I could go back to doing that again, doing it all over again, because I feel like I would enjoy it more the second time. But just go in with an open mind and have fun while you're doing it.
Fantastic
if you get the opportunity
advice.
once the mess is over.
Oh, absolutely. Go in understanding that we're all a bunch of misfits. Like,
Yeah.
who else scares for fun? Come on. We're a bunch of weirdos just looking to have a fun time. So if you have that mentality, it's really easy to make friends. We're there to make friends and have fun. So definitely get out there and get out of your comfort zone a little bit if that's something you're interested in doing.
Weirdness.
Embrace
your inner
the
weirdo.
weirdness. Be unique. Absolutely. Thanks for that, Paul. Let's see. Sasu. So many chats coming in. Okay. Hopefully once the mess is gone. Self-care moment. Sorry. Oh God. So many hydrates. Oh. So if they spend loyalty channel points called howls, they can cash it in for certain things, and it's one of those things like stretch. So I'm getting the stretch in, you guys. Posture check and then hydrate. And because they cash the points, I have to do that.
Like, hydrate.
Yeah, they do it throughout my streams too, yeah. Hopefully once the mess is gone, 2022 is going to be try auditioning for Great America and drag my love with me because I've been suggesting she try out as a makeup artist. Oh, her specialty is horror special effects. Absolutely. Look up, if you could find the information of the companies that they hire for the theme parks. They go through like third-party vendors. Maybe she can try working for the third-party vendor rather than through the theme park themselves, because they don't hire makeup artists through the theme park. They hire another company to come in for the theme park event. So
tell them to keep an eye on your schedule, because you should talk to my friend Miranda, who is a haunt makeup artist, and you can interview.
would Miranda be interested in it?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, if you're interested, and let them know that I might be able to get a special effects makeup artist on here, like who specializes in haunt makeup. Yeah. So Glenn knows someone. I know a couple people actually. I could reach out to them. Like they did my stone version of my head.
Too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I could send you some suggestions if you want, like a couple people who actually did work Horror Nights.
Yeah, sure. I'm open to it. Absolutely. I got people booked through July right now, and I'm totally fine getting people through August. So, yeah, I'm booked up. Okay. Yeah, Saturday nights. Usually it's going to be 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The reason it was 8 p.m. Last time and tonight was because, first off, Cristina last week could only do 8 p.m. because she got off work around 6. Paul, I asked Paul earlier today if it was okay if we did 8, or last night, I forgot when I sent you the message. But like I've mentioned a million times, I'm moving, and we were out and about picking up a couch, and I wouldn't have gotten back in time. So I asked Paul to push it back a little bit, and he was so gracious, especially with the time zone difference. So thank you so much for that. But everyone else, I scheduled for 6 p.m. Obviously, double check Instagram for those updates in case it changes, has to be canceled, postponed, whatever, different hour. So just keep an eye on my Instagram. It's charge_and_die. Self-care moment. Yes, we did the self-care moment. Thank you, everybody. Yo, I'll see if I can steal her for an evening to watch a stream. My friend who worked haunt was an actor and a makeup person. That's neat. They hire a third party. I always thought most haunts had you do your own makeup. It was like not style. Most haunts I've worked at, they had someone do my makeup for me. Other places, if they're small, yes, you would have to do your own makeup, but usually they have someone. It might not be a professional makeup artist, but it's usually someone helping out with makeup and costumes and everything. It's too much for one actor to deal with. But yeah, if you're able to do your own makeup, then they'll allow you, usually. Not for Universal.
I know at Universal, I had someone like do blood like on my hands and like black around my eyes. That's just because I was wearing a mask. But I always had someone doing it for me.
Yeah.
Like they have them for like special kinds of whatever it is, depending on what it is. So, yeah.
The only exception that I know of for a fact is Xandra. I interviewed her in my last season. She was in Stranger Things Maze, and she did her own makeup because she has been that actress many times and knows how to contour her face to look like that actress, and got approved to do her own makeup because she knew how to do it so well. And then also freed up makeup artists to do other people's makeup in the meantime. So like if you could get approval to do your own makeup, but yeah, that'd be interesting to get some makeup artists on here and interview them for that. I know I've interviewed Glenn about the tech side of Halloween Horror Nights a little bit. He worked on the lights for Halloween Horror Nights in the Mazes, which was a really interesting interview. Look that up on my YouTube. Also, if you're interested in hearing some other words of wisdom and other stories from Paul, he was the first one I interviewed for the series on my YouTube channel. Virtually, the in-person was Chris Hicks, which is also on my YouTube. So follow me on YouTube. These will live on YouTube after the fact. I'm gonna like edit them a little bit when I have time and upload them later. Also, when I'm fully moved in, I will start making other scare actor content for my YouTube. So if you're interested in scare acting, need more advice, want to chat more, maybe I'll do that on YouTube too. So follow on YouTube, Instagram for updates, here on Twitch, obviously. I go live Saturdays through Wednesdays. Every day. It's different times though, so check my schedule on Instagram. Like I said, I think I have my schedule up on Twitch too if you want to check that, but most up to date would be Instagram. But yeah, those are all the updates. Follow me on all the main 4 here on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And then also please follow Paul if you are here on Twitch, watching this on Twitch. His socials are right below his face. It's Instagram, Pollywood Forever, and then Twitter, forgive me if I mispronounce your last name, the Paul Zecharia? Nice.
Paul Zecharia, yep.
Paul Zecharia. That's what I had in my Excel sheet. I hope it's okay. But yeah, follow him on Instagram and Twitter. He's super cool. He also does cosplay. Sasu goes, thank you, Paul. Yeah, thank you so much, Paul, for your time. I know we went way over time. I usually just do it for an hour. We ended up talking for 2 hours. And by we, I mean mainly me. I'm so sorry. I chat people's ears off. But yeah, if everyone...
That's all good. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed this. It's always fun doing this.
It's nice to have people come back, like not just do it the one time, but enjoy themselves enough to come back on here. So thank you for that. Yeah, so if you are interested in hearing more scare actors, and not just scare actors, but people who work at haunts, so maybe tech people or makeup artists, I'm going to try and get some special effects makeup artists on here too. Just the haunt side of things, the horror side of things. Please follow me here on Twitch and on YouTube. That's where I'm going to be streaming these or uploading the streams to those. and get some questions prepared. If you want to chat with us in the live stream on Twitch, I do answer questions in chat. And it's your opportunity to ask your questions and hear some good advice and hear some awesome stories from people who have been in the fray when it comes to haunt working and haunt experiences. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good night. Stay spooky. Bye, everybody.